All right, Brett, I'll hand it over to you.
Hey guys, it's Brad Williams with Liquor Barn. We're here for a very special evening tonight. I know we've done a lot of these since the pandemic started. A lot of cool people, super hyped tonight. We've got somebody I've known and respected for a long, long time. Fred Noe is on the screen with us tonight. He's done lots of things. We've picked a gazillion Knob Creek barrels over the years. Fred has actually picked a bunch for us. Some of them, the ones that people say are the best, and some Fred did for us. We've always had a lot of fun with what we used to call the no names. In fact, Fred, we did one on your birthday one year that people have loved and have been hunting and hunting and hunting. I don't think we knew it was your birthday until after we were done. Very special day. We have Beth Burrows, who I've had the chance to pick some Baker's barrels with, which people are actually losing their mind about right now out there in the market. They love the liquid. Lots of people, sort of package geeks, are loving the way you guys put those Baker's packages together. She's got a sharp palate. She's around Kentucky all the time. So excited to have her. And why I think everyone should be really excited about this. And I looked it up about 6,540 miles away. We have Shinji Fukuyo, the chief blender for Suntory whiskey. So for the folks around these parts, that's Hibiki, Hakushu, Yamazaki. And what we're really all gathered here tonight during Bourbon Heritage Month is to talk about Legent Bourbon. It's got this snazzy new updated package. You can see their faces in it, which I was too unaware to notice, but as soon as I saw it in the new one, I could see it, so I love it. It's a great package. I've been sipping on this whiskey, as most of you know, I tend to do before we start for at least 20 minutes, just to sort of get acclimated and make a new friend with the whiskey. So I'll start it off right here with, Fred. Where does the name Legent come from?
Well, the name Legent is really not, the word Legent doesn't come from one particular definition. It's a kind of a collaboration of a lot of words. You think about legends, authenticity, legacy, and just to give people the idea that this is something special in the bourbon industry. It's bourbon forward, but, we took, Shinji and myself worked together to, bring, to get the story all down. Beam and Suntory joined companies, and we became Beam Suntory, one company. And we had Eastern culture and Western culture. And really, we kind of got tasked with the idea of bringing the two together. We were bringing our companies together. So we thought it would be really cool if Shinji, who is a Japanese blender, great man, does great whiskey. If you've experienced any of his whiskey, it's out of this world. Blending in the bourbon industry was not real thought of at the time. It was kind of, we did a little bit of finishing. Now Freddie with his little book, he's kind of been dipping his feet in the blending of spirits. So Shinji and myself, we had a relationship already, and we kind of brought the two together. But we'll get into the story a little later. But the word Legent is just kind of telling people this is something special done by legends, authenticity, legacy, bringing it all together. Great bourbon forward product, and it's something unique. And it was a lot of fun for me to get to know Shinji a lot better. We shared a lot of education, and it was a great experience for me. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I think I would echo that it's something you said that in my experience in the whiskey industry, just from the retail side of visiting and talking to everybody, is you mentioned the word fun. So I think if you guys are having fun doing this, that's all the better. So how did this fun start? Who was first? Was it Shinji? Was it you, Fred? Was it some genius in marketing? You said these two guys should talk. I've listened to both of them. We should put them in the room together and see what happens. How did that happen?
Okay, I'll answer that. And originally, this new product would be a kind of a symbolic product of new Beam Suntory. So that's why actually I received that request of new Jim Beam product joint development with Fred. And as Fred said, Fred is a master blender. I'm a chief blender. So as a chief blender, I would like to create new bourbon whiskey using blending technique. However, for blending, we need a different type of bourbons. So then I got some idea of secondary cask finishing. So in Japan, it's quite common practice to taking the secondary cask finishing, like a sherry cask finish, a wine cask finish. I employed this technique for the new product development. So as a result, so for the to reach the final product, we had a lot of discussions and a lot of dosing testing, and we have had to see the development of the secondary motivation itself. But finally, we created Legent using very well matured Jim Beam with Jim Beam finished in the wine cask and sherry cask together. So it's a kind of story of this Legent new product.
So,
Yeah.
so did he send you samples, Fred, or did you just have to incoming mail or blended samples from Japan, and you took your notes and sent it back, or did you guys get together at some point?
We got together quite often. I mean, we have an annual Suntory meeting, and a lot of us from the United States go to Japan. Shinji and me used that opportunity a couple of years to get together, and he gets over here to Kentucky quite often as well. And that gave us an opportunity to kind of educate each other. First thing we did was we sat down and, I kind of explained to Shinji about bourbon, and we kind of tasted, and we had to figure out what we were going to use. What type of Jim Beam, what age, what would work best in the secondary aging. And then we tried, the secondary aging, and we had to, how long do we leave it in the barrels? Till we get to the point where we were happy with what we had to blend with. So it was a back and forth. We tasted, he would bring several samples with him to Japan, and then stuff he was working on. If I was in Japan, we would sit down and actually taste, eliminate, use process of elimination. Do we like this? Do we don't? First, we had to get over the language barrier. My Japanese is negative. Shinji's English is way better than my Japanese. And a lot of times, I've coined the term, we use the way of whiskey to communicate. We can kind of look at each other's eyes when we taste it. And you can tell if somebody enjoys it, if they're kind of okay with it, or if it doesn't really hit the mark. So it was a definite learning experience and a chance for Shinji and myself to really get closer and to understand what each other does and to combine those things. And like he said, this is a historical brand because we were bringing two cultures together and bringing two companies together to form one big family, the Beam Suntory family. And this was our stab at it, and I think we did a pretty good job. I'm a little biased, but
Aren't we all? No, I get it. So so just what sets this apart? So when Fred is shipping you samples, you guys are googly whiskey eyes at each other. What sets this apart for you from other whiskeys and maybe some other bourbons you may have had in your past and a lot of the malt whiskeys and grain whiskeys you're drinking there in Japan?
You want me to start out? I mean, to me, it's bourbon forward. We didn't really want to change a lot. We wanted it to be a bourbon, but we wanted to use the influence of the red wine barrels and the sherry to enhance and balance the flavor of the bourbon and to really challenge your palate when you taste it and you wait for the finish and you pick up a little bit of the wine, you pick up a little bit of the sherry, but the bourbon is still there. And it's that was the whole idea, was to make this a very balanced product that's bourbon forward. And, that was our goal starting. And I think we hit the target very well with a lot of trial and error. I mean, we didn't hit it the first time. There was a lot of back and forth, back and forth. We're not that lucky to just go one time, boom, here it is.
One shot.
All right, that didn't happen. But it was, when we got finished, we knew we had something. I mean, with the help of Shinji, in my opinion, we were going back and forth, back and forth. And then we presented it to others and let them taste it. But it didn't really matter. It was really our call. I don't think anybody would have bucked us too much if we would have done something different. I mean, I don't think anybody in Japan is going to argue with Shinji's palate. And I don't think many people here in the States are going to tell me it doesn't taste good. And by the time we got together, everybody was tickled.
Awesome. Actually, Legent Bourbon whiskey. That's why I have been to the Kentucky very often to learn that bourbon itself, because bourbon is whiskey is a basic process that quite similar: cereal, mashed, fermentation, distillation, maturation. However, in the case of Japanese whiskey, for example, we don't have a mash bill ideas. So different cereals mixed together. So it's quite unique in the bourbon industry. And also we don't have a different type of distillation. So some point quite different. So I had to learn what is a bourbon first to understand what's that bourbon quality standard. So as you can easily understand that Fred is a very great my teacher, and but to be honest, I couldn't understand what Fred was saying. He's quite strong accent.
Oh yeah.
So you guys have it up.
But the whiskey, what can I say, bridge for our communication. Through the whiskey, we can communicate it very easy. So it's a kind of yeah.
Whiskey. What's the international language is like math, love, whiskey. Number 3. Put that in there. So
Great.
Shinji, you have to ask: is Legent available in Japan? No. Wow. Are there plans for that, or just like go to the United States and get it if you want it? You're the only man in Japan who's had it.
So actually, Suntory has to sell that Jim Beam White and the Maker's Mark a lot in Japan market first, but eventually I hope introduce the Legent in Japanese market as well.
So, we've got Beth Burrows on here with us. I originally was going to ask both of you, but maybe I'll let all 3 of you talk here. So we'll go with Beth first, because you've just been sitting there patiently listening to my terrible jokes. What is it you get when you drink Legent? What is Beth? What do you feel? What do you taste? What is it about Legent that you love?
I think there's a lot of things, right? One, when it comes to just pouring it into the glass, the immediate, overwhelming, warm notes that you get from Jim Beam bourbon really come through, right? You get that nice vanilla, the caramel. There is going to be that oak that definitely comes on the palate. And I think that when, Fred was talking about having that bourbon forwardness inside of Legent, that's really, that oak that coats your tongue. And then you get those beautiful, subtle intricacies from the sherry and the red wine cask finishes that it finishes so differently than anything else that I think is out on the market, and definitely anything else that we have inside of our portfolio. So it sips differently, and that I'm a big cocktail nerd, and Legent plays so well in cocktails in a different way than a lot of other bourbons. So it's been really fun to kind of experiment that way too. And honestly, just being able to blow people's minds, just setting this down in front of them and having them go through and kind of articulate what it is, because they're like, I can't quite put my finger on it. And then they start talking about what's actually in the liquid itself. And it starts to come out exactly what those notes are to them and how they manifest. So you get that beautiful plum note, some of that ripe red fruit that comes through, but it definitely finishes like your bourbon with that big, bold oak note. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful whiskey. Y'all did good.
Love it. I'm sitting here drinking it. You made me thirsty anyway. So Fred, we'll go with you. We'll keep up with the Americans first. What is when you're thinking to try and Legent? What is it you get? What is it you feel? What is it you love? What is the aha moment for you when you try it?
Well, a lot of it is, I'm very used to, the products we produce here in Kentucky. And to me, since I was lucky enough to be involved with Shinji, I got to see this product come from the beginning to the end. And when I taste it, I think about all the times that we sat and tasted and what we were looking for and how we got the flavor to get there. Not too much red wine, not too much sherry. I keep going back to the word balance because, I've kind of played with Freddie a little bit on his little book stuff and his blending. I've been dipping my toes in it with him and with Shinji. And I mean, to really move it to where you want to go, you can really get way off base. But to me, it's just right. You pick up a little bit of the red wine, pick up a little bit of sherry, but the bourbon is there. I mean, it's not like we masked it. We enhanced it, to give people who are looking for, that real broad finish, sipping on a little bit of it neat, maybe around the fire in the wintertime, just to enjoy it, slowly sip and savor the flavors. And it might not taste the same every time, depending on your nose and, what kind of shape you're in. So to me, it's a unique experience every time.
All right, Shinji, you're up as the non-bourbon guy, the malt guy, the grain guy. And when you try Legent, what is it you feel? What is it you taste? Do you have little ideas of like, I need to drink more bourbon? What's happening?
Yeah, actually, I'm very lucky to I can use that is kind of very great bourbon whiskey of Jim Beam family. And but from my point of view, bourbon whiskey is very strong first. So first attack is very impressive, and then finish relatively short, but still I can feel a kind of a rootiness of the vanilla in the finish. But I would like to enhance that top attack is good enough. But I would like a bit more middle and last part, which will come from that soft, sweet sour from wine cask finish in the middle, and last and finish probably you can catch up something as spice and tannic taste. It comes from that sherry cask finish. So first attack, I can enjoy that great, well matured bourbon taste, vanilla and corny and such kind of things. But immediately it's shifting that the sour, sweet, fruity, tannic, spicy, such kind of flavor shifting you can enjoy in the this Legent product, I believe. It's quite unique from my point of view.
I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. So in that same vein, I think, Fred, something I've always heard you say, I've always carried with me is, as an older, drink it however you want, we'll make more. I've always thought that was a very apt lifestyle for drinking whiskey, is drink it however you want. So how do you drink Legent, Fred? Are you drinking that with a cube? Are you drinking it on a cocktail, neat, ginger?
I do it I'll do it neat, but to be honest, the cocktails, I'm not a huge mixologist. I don't do so well, but at events that Shinji and I have attended and they've created cocktails, it's very good. I mean, it's they mix it up with some unique fresh fruits, flavors, fresh stuff, fresh cocktails. I like one occasionally, but to me, I drink it neat and just to enjoy the flavor, because it's not extremely high, in strength, and I can, enjoy it, sip on it neat, and, maybe add just a drop or two of water to open it up a little bit. But to me, it's just I like to experience the finish, the different. If I want to, drink the bourbon, I know where I can grab a bottle of something else. But for this is where I kind of expand my palate and look for the nuances of the red wine barrel and the sherry butt in there. It's just it's always fun to play with. And Fred and me laugh. He sees me with that. He's, oh, you're drinking Legent. I see that. I said, oh yeah, well, I bounce around a lot. There's a lot of products around this house I can taste.
So
It's
Shinji,
pandemic.
I did some snooping, and I watched a video of you where you chose a highball glass of whiskey as the way you like to drink whiskey. So fill me in. Is that how you would drink a Legent? Would you fill a highball glass, ice? Would you go, Fred's got the rocks glass. I'm using what the bourbon heads these days call taster glass. I kind of like this one because if I want water or ice, I can drop it in there real easy. How do you drink Legent?
I guess now I'm in the Yamazaki distillery, my working place, because at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then,
so
yeah. Yeah, that's why I use that, nosing glass. It's my, I have to use, it's a nosing glass, so it's for my job. So, but at home, when I enjoy the Legent, usually I drink it as a neat, but very often I also drink it on the rocks. So on the rocks, the temperature, when temperature comes down, so taste a bit of what can I say, tighter, and much clearer. So sometimes I can enjoy that, Legent with rocks. But in Japan, we are not so cocktail culture in Japan. But sometimes I tried at home because Legent not available in the market at home. Legent with rocks and some, some spice and small drop of a soda as a long drink. It's also very good.
All right, Beth, you're hanging out there. Just on my screen here in the bottom right. I'm gonna look down at you. You mentioned it earlier. Cocktails. Give us your go-to quick cocktail, Beth Burrows, Legent cocktail. Go.
So I enjoy messing with old fashions and playing around with different things in old fashions. So do a Legent new fashion, if you will, with a honey syrup and citrus bitters.
Honey syrup and citrus bitters.
Yes.
The bitters game has gotten so wild out there. I've heard of French, I guess, but honey syrup and citrus bitters and Legent, is that equal parts? Extra Legent for somebody like me, but how is that?
I always do 2 parts of your base spirit there. So 2 parts of the Legent, and then I typically do 0.5 parts of my simple. So the honey simple would be 0.5, and then bitters is always, of course, to taste. Some people really enjoy them. I'm an old bartender, so my heart is bitter, and so is my palate. And so we dab those in there quite a bit. But I would say 3 to 5 dashes of the citrus bitters in there, and if you want a little bit less, cool. If you want a little bit more, as Fred loves to say, drink it any damn way you please, right?
He'll make more. And
He'll make more.
We will make more, that's for sure.
Speaking of that, so we'll try to wrap this up neat and nice with a little bow here. What does the future hold for Legent and the kind of dynamic duo of Kentucky and Japan? Are you guys working on something new? Is Fred gonna blend something from Japan? Kind of a reciprocal agreement here. What's the future of this relationship hold?
You want to take a stab at it, Shinji? I'm pretty tight-lipped. I don't like to let too much out. You got to watch these folks. They'll try to wiggle stuff out of you. I know, Brad.
I've already talked to your guy Carlos down in Jalisco, Fred. I already know what's coming there. So we're going to find out.
Really? You got that cat out of the bag. Wait till I talk to Carlos.
I saw it. Sidebar. I saw the barrel and walked back and stopped and backed up. It was
supposed to be a surprise.
What I think it says. So, what's new with you?
We're definitely working together on things for the future of the brand. The pandemic, this was when we released it. It was predominantly an on-premise brand for bartenders in just a few markets because we were just learning and we had to build tanks and, we had to add a lot of infrastructure at Beam to create this product, mixing tanks and secondary aging tanks and, things where we get everything right. So we wanted to make sure and grow it slowly and correctly. But then the pandemic hit, so that killed the on-premise push that we were planning. So, now we're kind of leaning in on the off-premise because everybody's not going to the bars as much. But we are planning to grow it at a different pace now because, our whole game plan got scrubbed on the COVID thing. But as far as working together, Shinji and me are playing with some stuff, and you'll be probably one of the first to know when it does come. It's just a slow go. I mean, a lot of our ideas nobody will ever hear about, maybe. What I'm saying? We don't like to brag until it hits the market. We didn't really know how Legent was going to be or even what the name was going to be. And then when we get it, that's when we turn the marketing folks loose. You can't build it up too much ahead of time because they'll be breathing down your throat. When are you going to have it ready? When are you going to have it ready? And
Yes.
we go slow and methodical on this. It's not about speed. We want to go with quality. Make sure when we release something that we give the customers something's of utmost quality. And, we're combining our two cultures. It's going to be all Kentucky or all Japan. We're going to bring the two together. And that's what it's all about. Collaboration, true collaboration, not just, one or the other doing it all and just saying this and saying that. We want to make sure that, when we put something out there, we put our names on it, our faces on it. It's going to be good stuff. I mean, it's me and Shinji's, legacies, really. Yeah, it's our heart and soul, and it's something that we're very proud of, and we're glad to put it out there and share it with the world. I mean, it's at some point we will be getting it out, but we got to build it up slowly. The first, our first adventure, and if it's successful, who knows?
Guys, I appreciate you getting on tonight. I just want to say cheers to all three of you for Bourbon Heritage Month. I know two of you are probably all over the place this month. It's not as bad for me. I'm sure Beth is tasting after tasting. Shinji, you're over in Japan. Cheers to you. Japanese breakfast. And with that, I just want to say thanks to all three of you for doing this for us. I know personally I've got a lot of questions about this brand and what is it and what does it taste like and how do they do it, is the reason I sort of thought, it might be good just to hear this straight from the source. So thanks to all three of you. Shinji, I can't thank you enough for tuning in at 8 a.m. In Japan to do this with us. So thank you very much. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Cheers to all of you.
Thank you. Cheers.
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 And scene.